Good evening and welcome to another edition of the replay where we hope we make you guys' day. We are back in the building, joining us on the full staff this time because I got my brothers none other than Mr. Greg Ice Trade Lewis all the way from Texas A&M by way of Wilmer Hutchins High School and that track guy, as well as my man Tim Action Jackson. I'm gonna mention Skyline High School, and it's all good. It wasn't his fault. But we're in the building, and we want to thank y'all for joining us for another episode of the replay. Again, we're back in full throttle, ready to go. And I'm hoping you guys will sit back and relax. If you are joining us live, we appreciate you coming on. Don't forget, this is Al Islam Worldwide TV. That's whom we're sponsored by. You can go over to our app store, download that free app. Again, absolutely free. You'll see the green and white banner. Download that banner, and you'll get a chance to go live when we go live, be notified, as well as enjoy some of this great content. So, fellas, we're in the building. How y'all doing this evening?
Doing fine. Bless.
Well, you know it. Glad to be back. He back. So
Absolutely,
definitely a blessing.
absolutely. And that note like that, man, I got to give us some round of applause, man. Round of applause because we kind of had to take our little vacation too. Everybody else get a little vacation. Why not? Me and Greg came back a little bit early, but we here, man. I'm grateful. We got a lot to discuss. Starting out first and foremost, I want to talk about the WNBA draft that took place last night, with the number one player being taken by none other than the Dallas Wings, Miss Aziz Fu, the guard out of UConn. She went number one overall, back to back, and she's going to be paired, man, with the big center of power forward. I think with the Dallas Wings, Tim. And I want to come to you first before on that because I think Dallas may have something finally in the making. So, what's your take on last night WNBA draft with the first player being taken in Azizi Flood?
Yeah, Ivy Flood. Yeah, definitely. She's a 3-point killer. That girl can shoot. She shot 45 from the field, and the year before she thinks she shot 44. I may be off 1%, but she can shoot. And she come off those pick and rolls. She'll come off them pick and rolls. She'll be hitting those threes. So now the floor is going to open up for her. And then what told for this draft? What told you they were going to get Abby Flood? Which is Paige Becker's
former teammate. Yeah.
What told you they were going to get her though? Because they went and got these players were on the team. Alana Smith, who was Defensive Player of the Year last year. She played for Minnesota. They got another girl that was also a center. They're 6'4" and 6'5", who came from Minnesota as well. That was 2 championship teams. And from overseas, they got Awa Cure. And she's athletic, can run. So everybody talking about Awa Fam. Well, they got Awa Cure, who's similar to her, and she's 6'6", and she can go. So they shored up the big people, so they can do pick and rolls, and all of them can shoot threes. And now with good defense, now they have three girls who can play it outside. So now they signed Enrique, she's back.
Yeah.
You got Paige Beckers, and now you got Azzy Fudd up there shooting them threes. So to keep the game open, they should be pretty nice this year.
Yeah, I certainly agree because that's a formidable backcourt. With Fudd, Arika, of course she can get a shot anytime she really wants to. And I think Paige Becker, what she suffered from last year is everything was collapsing in on her. And I think with someone like Flood on the outside, it opens up the lane a little bit more. And man, I think a lot of great things can come out of that. Those players, if they're on the court doing what they're supposed to be doing. And also, there's another UConn player by the last name of Carrier. Check your mute your mic if you got. I can hear some background feed. But the thing is, when I look at the overall roster, as you mentioned, man, Dallas have a real big front line. With that type of height, those type of guards, I don't see no way the Dallas Wings not being able to make next year's playoff. What you think, Greg?
Yeah, they should. I mean, they got the size. They got the shooter that can stretch the floor. And they play great. Now they got some defensive players, they got some shot blockers, and they got athleticism. And they should be able to make the playoff with no problem.
Yeah. Well, Tim, let me ask you this too, because again, I'm talking about Carrier. I think her name is Samuel. I can't remember her first name, but I think they got at least 3 UConn players. And I'm kind of thinking about the Dallas Mavericks, if you will, because Mavericks
well,
made,
you know, Paige Becker's from Connecticut, as well as
yeah,
Alabama. I mean, not Alabama. Fudd, Ashley Fudd, who actually played with her, played teammates
right.
as well.
That's
So
what
they're
that's
definitely
where I'm
from
going.
there.
That's
Um,
where I'm going with.
but Enrique also has a former teammate on the team as well too that she won a championship with,
Oh,
and that's
really?
a new girl they got this in free agency. So she's 6'4" and she shoots three. She plays the four, and so they both. And then in the championship, if you remember the girl Lee, the Chinese girl, Lee and Alana Smith played with Enrique, and they won the unrivaled championship this past little spring. So she recruited them on the team. So when Enrique was out recruiting, everybody was wondering whether Enrique was going to come back. And you should see from the situation that she was coming back, and she took a little less money. She took probably 1.1 or 1.2 million instead of 1.4 million. So they're doing some things, and this team should. Another thing I like about it is the coach. He's going to run some actions that they didn't run last year. Some double picks, some different action that actually allows them to pick and roll, and a couple of. I'm trying to think of this one term. I can't remember what it is, but he's going to run a few different actions than they did last year. That's going to allow those girls to actually open up and run off and get some freedom. Enrique couldn't get any freedom last year because they wasn't running any action for her as well. It was hard to pass the ball to her because of the offense they was running. So that's going to change and help a lot too.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you, and I hope that the offense that they do run, that it would do again, that we talked about, a lot more spacing. Again, with a guard like Arike, like I said, man, she's so great as penetration, pop and pull up. She can do it
Mm-hmm.
all. Now you compare her or surround her with another backcourt mate like Fudd. I mean, the sky is definitely the limit with this particular team that's in place. I'm looking forward to a great season next year because it's been a minute, man. The Dallas Wings. It seemed like we get the first overall pick, like you said, 2 back-to-back players. First time ever that has happened, where the same team took 2 back-to-back players from the same, college, former teammates at UConn, and now they're on the same team with the Dallas Wings. So again, I think it's going to be a great opportunity, man, for the Dallas Wings moving forward. They got a nice lineup, and I'm looking really, really forward, man. Hoping to get a chance to see them in person next year. Hadn't been to a game in quite some time, but I'm definitely hoping that I get a chance to see them next year. But let's talk about some of the other WNBA women that was also selected. Olivia Miles, she went to the Minnesota Lynx. Always Fame CM. She went to Seattle Storm. Lauren Betts, Washington Mystics. Gabriella Jacquez to Chicago Sky. Kiki Rice out of UCLA. And they had a great draft themselves. All the players that went from UCLA, I think they set a record. But she wound up going to the Toronto Tempo, and Iana Martin Carrion went to Portland Fire, and Flajay Johnson, which was surprised because she was actually taken by the Golden State Valkyries, and then later traded over to Seattle. So Tim, I'm gonna come to you on that right quick because I was rather surprised that Golden State could have used a player of her magnitude, I believe. Having been already won a championship with Angel Reese now from LSU, but they wind up, and I don't know what their plans are, but they wind up trading her to Seattle Storm. So what do you think about that trade?
They end up getting a shooter in replace, but you talking about a playmaker. Flaugier is a playmaker, and plus off the court, she's a rapper. She's gonna be right in that element, right in the Bay Area, close to LA, and she won't be too far from with Seattle as well too. But still, they had a chance to go up another level because you got a playmaker who can make plays, and it's always a little bit the pro game is a little bit wide open than the college game. So they give her a little bit more room to do some things with that team. So she could have been, like you said, a star there. But tell you what, though, in Seattle, she will be a star because Seattle lost a lot of players. So they're doing a remix. So she get a chance to be the name of that team. So that'll be a good thing for her in that instance, is that she'll be the name on Seattle because she's gonna be the star for them.
Well, speaking about stars, we saw that Angel Reese did get traded to to Atlanta, which was, it's been some, some knock about locker room talk, but then you don't know how much is that, jealousy, a lot of things that comes into play, and it's so, I hate to go there, but a lot of times when individuals are making more money, probably off the court than maybe on the court, there's a little bit of resentment. And you're talking about women's basketball, and I hate to stereotype, but a lot of times that do happen, which is one of the reasons why sometimes girl R&B groups they don't last, right? Because there's a lot of stigma. But I shouldn't go there probably because they're gonna be like, "Oh, come on now, look how many members of the Temptation had." But anyway,
Well, that's
never.
true.
I didn't see that coming, but what you think about that trade? Well, let me come to Greg on that with Angel Reese going to Atlanta. Will it help Atlanta uh, boost up their roster? And if so, where do you see them going next year, Greg?
Yeah, that'll help them. She can score. You're gonna play defense. And they said that work with her and her agent. It was more teams that wanted her, but they worked. Where she can go, where she want. Kind of on the end of that. Atlanta is a place where she will fit in good because she likes to social life and
Yeah,
media, dressing. She going to the right place. For the to have fun and play the game that she love. And she's gonna be amongst a lot of her people.
well, I'm hoping that's not to her detriment.
Yeah, yeah.
We are
But
talking about
uh,
Atlanta now.
sometimes people get where they want to be, and it makes them, more happy and more, relaxing, more fun. Just go out and enjoy the game. So I'm
Now,
hoping,
Yeah,
that
mhm.
where she in Atlanta, that would be, the situation.
yeah. What Tim? What you think?
Well, she's coming to a team that can play. They actually had the third best record last year.
Yeah,
Dream
the
did.
dreams. The
And
dream is nice now. The dream,
yeah,
they
so
they nice.
hmm they got some players on their team all the way through. They got some all stars, three of them, as a matter of fact. And so she's going to add to that. You forgot about the me bounds. You got they call them me bounds, but really they rebound. That girl, she can offensive rebound and she can defensive rebound. She does them both. She's led the league. She's setting the world on fire. She can dribble the ball from the top of the key all the way to the basket, so she can drive the ball. She's working on her jumper. It's getting a little better. It's coming along. She can lay up, even though sometimes her layups have gotten better since she's been working with a girl, Leslie, with Leslie. So since she's been working with her shots have come better on layup. So she's improved quite a bit. And with that team, she's getting those rebounds and getting them shots. They hit threes. They run. So this is going to be a great situation. As a matter of fact, I would tell you they are one of the top contenders going into the season next year.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So you got them. You got them definitely winning possibly their conference. You think? Well, let me say this: they did draft, to their credit, they did also draft Medina Ocock out of South Carolina. So
Hmm.
I think that's a nice pickup to him as well. So that's another valuable piece. So I'm hoping that Angel Reese is successful. When she get to Atlanta, she will be because we know everybody knows her skill set is there. I think it's just some of the things. I think the opportunity, I guess to make some necessary adjustments as they saw fit. Um, but we'll see how it all work out. Sometimes change is good, the environment is good. So we'll see how it all work out. We'll definitely see how it all work out. But that's WNBA again. I was Lauren Betts, man, going to the Washington Mystics. Um, if we didn't have Paige Becker, man, I'm telling you, man, I like the big girl out of UCLA. Uh, I would have liked to have seen her with the Dallas Wings, but we do have Paige Becker. So I'm just hoping that it all finally comes together. I don't think that there should be a margin for error. because we've been this, we had Skylar Diggers at one time. We thought Skylar Diggers, when she was with us, that she would team up in the backcourt with Arika. Didn't happen the way we would like for it to happen. And we've had some pieces in the past, but I'm hoping, man, that we finally got some stability with the Dallas Wings, and we'll see how they go. But guys, let's go over and segue real quick, because we got another draft that's about to come up. And that will be the 2026 NFL draft, which is right around the corner. We are 9 days away, and I want to talk about what you hear, what's going on, what is rumored. The Dallas Cowboys seeking to bolster up their secondary as well as their linebacker position. And I'm on the clock right now at number 12 with that pig man going towards Sonny Lyles, out the linebacker out of Ohio State.
Sonny
Hoping that,
Styles. Mm-hmm.
Styles. Yeah, I'm hoping that if Dallas don't, it's going to be kind of interesting, because some of these late, how they do these late, right? Well, so-called late, they leak this information now, like on Baines, things that was happening with Baines, the defensive end, Ed Rush out of Miami, some of his issues off the field. I said it just amazes me how when you're targeting a certain player, now here come the negative reports again, something that the NFL already knew in regards to his troubles that he had off the field. Which been it wasn't really well publicized, but one reporter decided to go ahead and put it out there 9 days away from a draft. So it doesn't amaze me. But Greg, let me come to you first on this with the 2026 NFL draft upcoming. What you see, who you see sliding out of the top 10 at least, or do you see anybody, or do you think on your draft board that it's going to remain the same?
Well, this year you have a lot of talent. I think it's pretty much it's going to stay the same. I don't see a lot of changes, but I don't think Sonny will be there at 12. So
you think he's gonna be gone?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be gone. So y'all might need to be looking at some more linebackers and secondary. I think he's gonna be gone.
Well, I posted something that was so funny to me. Me and Greg were having this discussion last week, Tim. It was so Greg seemed to think that our fan base, is built by our brothers and sisters over there in the Hispanic community. He said, we not around. All we gotta do is go check the tape, so to speak. So he think we might should draft Rodriguez out of Texas Tech, but
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, Jared said some jerseys.
We would if we had a pick in the second round, but we don't have a pick in the second round. That boy going in the second round. He ain't going in the first. He going second round. We're not drafting him in the first. Now if we trade back,
no.
We'll do it. We'll trade back and get him, because he actually is real smart, and he controls the defense pretty good. But his pass defense,
it's suspect.
It's all right, but it's all right. So that's what his weakness is. But he's smart, and he actually lines up in the right place, and he'll do the right thing. He's just a little step off with his speed on that situation.
Well, you know what? Go ahead, Greg.
If he came to the Cowboys, he had a #1 jersey sales in the NFL.
This is what you trying to say? What you trying to say?
This is what we kind of come in with.
The Spanish gonna buy a jersey, baby. They're gonna buy a jersey.
And nothing wrong with that. But jersey. You trying to say our whole community, your community as well too, has been taken over?
I've been taken over.
Your community too.
I've been to AT&T Stadium. My eyes don't lie.
Well, I tell you this. I will say this though. He is a hard worker, hard player. I personally don't see him as a day 2 pick. If I'm going to
go ahead. This question: why Jerry Jones ain't had no football game in Africa?
Well, I think it may be on the table. I think I heard him talking about that at some point.
Why he had that in Africa? He know where they love them Cowboys at.
Well, yeah, you're right about that. We don't go overseas too much either. We don't even go to London that much.
I think
New
that's on
York go to
SNBC.
London. All those teams go to London. New England, New York,
When
all
they
go to the
ask,
East Coast.
when they ask
We go
Jerry,
to Mexico.
when they say Jerry, where you want to go? Jerry gonna say, baby, I want to go to the bowl, baby, the taco bowl, baby. Go to Mexico.
That's what he say.
Yeah.
That's what he say. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you though. Let me say this though, because I think Rodriguez is a day 3 pick. I don't necessarily see him going. You know, well, he could slide maybe in the 3rd round. Who knows? But I just don't see him in the top 2 rounds. Not at this particular point. And he kind of remind me. He kind of remind me of that win in a way. In a way.
He might end up being like the other Texas Tech superstar that went to Miami.
Let me see who is that? That went to Miami. That went to Miami.
That went to the Dolphins. Jimmy Johnson drafted him and gave him a chance. They say he was too little, too small.
Who you talking about? Who you talking about?
His sister married. What's the name? The defensive end for Miami. I'm trying to give y'all some hints.
Well, this is a sports show. That's sports show. You might as well go ahead and say it.
I ain't going back in that Rolodex.
There's so many players that he drafted and released.
What's his name? Zach. The little short.
Oh, you talking about Zach? Oh, you talking about Zach Thomas?
Yeah, Zach Thomas.
You talking about Zach Thomas?
Yeah.
Well, you know Zach Thomas. I mean, had a very productive NFL career.
That's what I'm saying. But he was at Texas Tech. They say he was too small, too slow.
Right. Yeah. Well, him. Because again, I kind of put, that win being out of Texas A&M himself. Overachievers, hard workers, man. They work hard. I have Rodriguez kind of like in that mold. And that's one of the reasons why I think he can go 3rd, maybe early 4th round. I'm not sure if Dallas, it's still been some rumor. I don't think it's gonna happen because he's such, he's a veteran player, but he's on the backside of his career. Bobby Wagner, there's still, some dancing with that idea. Don't think it's gonna really happen, but we'll see. Stranger things have happened. But if they do take him, I think it's going to be somewhere between the 3rd, maybe early 4th round. But Tim, to your statement, I think I got one individual where I'm hoping that Dallas, even though we don't have a 2nd round pick, I think they may trade back in, man, and grab my little nephew out of Texas, man, Malik Muhammad. So let me just share some inside information because I do know he was one of the 30 visits. They're really high on it. And I think what shocked them all, which I don't know why, is when he ran his 40 time. And they was thinking it was on some people that leaked some incorrect information that they thought he was gonna run like a 4.6. I say a 4.6 win. What are y'all talking about? First and foremost, I mean, he's always been around a 4.3, 4.39. He ran a 4.42 at the combine, so you might as well say that's a 4.9. Speed. But I do think sometimes playing the corner position because they're not throwing the ball your way. And sometimes when it happens, he's never really had to open up his gate to really like run somebody down. He gets bored, as oftentimes do, which is a reminder you can't go to sleep, especially at that next level. So they didn't know what he was going to run. But the things I do like that he's on record saying how it would be a dream come true if the Dallas Cowboys were to and he's a 2-time state championship winner out of South Oak Cliff High School. They played for the Big 12, won a Big 12 championship, played for a national championship, or was in the national championship playoffs. And so we know that the pedigree is there. So Dallas is looking at defensive backs. I think some of the DBs that they signed is on 1 year like tenders. I don't think that's long term. Carson, who they drafted out of Wake Forest, I believe, a couple of years ago. I don't think he's it. He wanted to put on number 21 because, by his own words, he wanted to be the next Deion Sanders. Well, I haven't seen none of that. Maybe Deion Wonders or something. Like wonder where you went, because I hadn't seen him due to some of the injuries that he's had. But even when he's been healthy on the field, I just hadn't seen this bravado that he came out with, talking about why he wanted to wear 21. And then of course you got Rebels When they drafted him last year, they had the ACL, and I think he deserves another year. To come strong. He has long arms. So I'm kind of hoping. He's been on these visits, man. Been to the Giants, been to the Atlanta Falcons, been to the New England Patriots. This is inside information where what I'm hearing about as it relates to hopefully the Dallas Cowboys moving back in. I don't want to get too much away though, man. Somebody might they may not even get, you know what I'm saying. But that would just be my dream to have him come home and play in front of his family and friends. But Tim, let me come to you on that, referencing the Dallas Cowboys with that number 12 pick. And how do you see them going? Do they take Sonny Styles? Do they take if Bailey fall to them at number 12? Who do you like first? The edge rusher, the linebacker, or do they surprise us with a DB like Mansu out of LSU?
Well, if I'm gonna take, I'll take the edge rusher first, and then I would take the linebacker second because that's one of the things about you got Sonny Styles. If Sonny Styles land or Bailey lands first, I'll take Bailey first, then I would take Styles because that pressure is going to really mean something. But the other part is that if they don't get a corner on number 12, they're gonna. That's why they got Muhammad because they may want to trade back so they can get a corner and they can pick up Muhammad in a second. So that number 12 pick, more than likely, if it's not a corner, then more than likely they're going to do something with that 20 pick maybe and change it and move back and try to get in the second round so they can get him. Because I'm pretty sure he's going to go in the second round. So his pedigree says so, and his talent says so, and he would be a great addition to the Dallas Cowboys if so. So I would love it if he actually makes it to the Cowboys and they don't get a corner. So if they take up Delaney and depends on what they side with what his name McCord, the one that was hurt last year. What's his name exactly? Well, I'm close to it, but if they don't get neither of those first two corners, the other one was hurt. He didn't play no football at all last year. And if they pass on him or he gets drafted, then before them, then more than likely they probably gonna trade back to get another corner. They need some more people in the room anyway. Plus they need some security because our two best corners are injured, coming off of injury, both of them. And so they believe in them, but they're still injured. So you got to have somebody you actually depend on. They added one corner already, so they feel like they can do that as well. But then you need somebody else young as well too to groom up, and especially if one of those guys decide to not get back to where they were. You want somebody to replace them. So that's why it's a great opportunity for Muhammad to get drafted in the second round as well. And then number 20, if they don't get a defensive end or linebacker, they get a corner. And number 20 may get your boy from Miami, the other linebacker, Masur. So they may get him in number 20 if he's still there. He'd be a great pickup at number 20 if that's the case.
Yeah, well, Greg, what you thinking? I know you're gonna probably slide them 49ers in there some kind of way, but I told you, man, I don't think we're gonna go ahead and get Fred Warner. We want to go young, man. We don't want to trust nobody coming off ACS. So let me know how you see this first the top 10 rounds shaping out.
Well, you can forget about Fred Warner. Bobby Wagner be your best shot. He can, and that'll be because he can teach them guys over there how to attack the ball and read. But the Cowboys, whatever they do at the 12 and the 20 pick, he's gonna have to be on the back end. They need something on the back end, linebackers and back, because what they have right now is atrocious.
Well, they've added some people since that time, so they don't know if they're atrocious now because they added a corner and they added a safety. So, and plus, just having a different defensive caller gonna make it better than what it was before because that was just atrocious. That was the coaching and the coaching decisions was atrocious. That was just, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we don't listen. You know my favorite name for him, so we don't even want to go back to
that.
We
don't want to be flushing nothing.
We don't already flush Matt Eberflush. We don't already flushed him down the toilet. That's his
because in the draft, because we only see what's on TV. It's a lot of kids that's worked out for the the NFL teams that we don't get a chance to see, at smaller colleges, and bigger colleges that we didn't get the chance to see, that can be sleepers. So
Mm-hmm. True.
we see the big guys, big schools every week, on TV, this, then all of a sudden you be seeing this guy get drafted or this guy on Sunday playing, you be like, man, I ain't never heard of where he come from. Oh, he came from, Northeastern, some college, a Division II or Division I, Prairie View or Grambling or somewhere. You never heard of these guys. So, a lot of teams, they be looking for a diamond in the rough, and they sometimes they get them at a small school, a person who don't have the clout that the other big schools have, and they just be sitting on them, and they're not talking about them.
Yeah. You know what I'm
Yeah.
thinking about too. Y'all remember Avian Terrell who plays corner, right? That was somebody who was thought to go mid second, mid first round. He ran such a bad
Right.
time on his pro day. He hurt his hamstring really. So he hurt his hamstring and he ran those bad times. I think he ran 4.6s on a bad hamstring, And he thought, they was thinking he's going to be running 4.4s. So he ran 4.6s. So he may drop because of his pro day. Usually you want your pro day to make you up, lift you up. But he may go the opposite way. And that's Avion Terrell. That's the cornerback that Dallas was thinking about getting at 20. So he may drop into the second, maybe third. It just depends on how they feel about that how injured he was at that time, and believe that was that a real time or just injured time.
Well, something, kind of piggybacking a little bit what you're talking about with these defensive backs, man, that's injured and coming out with, whether they got recovering from ACL injury, hamstring injury, whatever. I just think Dallas have to be for sure.
Mm-hmm.
When they draft these players, especially this year, having a new defensive coordinator in Christian Parker, I think this is going to be very, very important. And there's a plethora of defensive backs that are available. When we look at even Macon out of Tennessee, one heck of a player, man. I think he's definitely a dog. You know what I'm saying? But then he has that injury as well, and you just kind of question, like, man, do we want to go back, down that road? I'd rather go with a pick, man, that I feel like if you have an extra willingness or extra drive to want to play for one of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable brand in all of sports, why not? He's a hometown guy. We're speaking about Malik Muhammad. He's in the backyard. I mean, he has all the attributes. You talk about you want a cover corner in NFL. You want a man press. He's your guy. I would like to see him just be a little bit more physical in the run. But again, it all depends on how you scheme and what you're asking him to do. They played a lot of man on the outside. So I just think if Dallas is going to make that move, then make the move and don't wait too late, because I don't think he's going to, especially, man, if he's not between the first 3 rounds at day 2 pick, I'm hoping he can maybe somebody got him rated higher on their draft board. Who knows? Because with this thing have the ones who, like Greg was speaking about, the ones who you think is going to go, they wind up sliding out of top 10, 15 or 20. And before you know it, even heck, sometime out of the first round. We've seen those things happen. So I think Dallas, one thing I will say about this draft, it is a deep draft. I do think you can get your guy in this draft. Whatever your team is needing, I think you have to be very mindful of your scouting department and the guys who went out there and rated these players and scouted these players and the guys that you brought in on the interview. I think a lot of that has to be considered when you're inside that draft room, man, and you're on the clock. Because again, whether if they go edge rusher, linebacker, me personally, I would like to see linebacker first if they can get Sonny out of Ohio State, or maybe Arvell Reese, even though they're saying that he won't be there. But I'm just saying if they can't get either between I would say those 4 guys, between Bain, Bailey, Reese, and Sonny. Dallas. I know they got 2 picks in the first. Who knows? Maybe they trade one of them. Maybe they trade back. Maybe they do something different to get more picks on the back end. But get your man. Get your man. Whoever you have rated on your board as the highest, just make sure you get your man because this is a very, very important draft. Uh, because we know that the offense is there. And here's another thing. Let me throw this out there, guys. Um, what if Jeremy Love fall at 12? Do you take him, Greg?
Of course. I mean, I gotta
You
take.
take it.
You
Mm-hmm.
say
Yeah, you take him. You take him right strong. Because now, you just got to do what you got to do. You got to make some trades. You got to do what you need to do. You need to trade some picks. You get to other people. You find your other people. You got to get them on the team. Because there's different ways to find them. But you take Jeremy Love because you talking about now you extending people's careers. That boy can play. He can run
yeah,
that
I
ball. He
mean,
can catch it out the backfield. He's your receiver and your running back because he can catch out the back. He can run routes. So he's very talented and he breaks tackle. So now you got that combo running back. Now he definitely can run the ball, and that opens up the receivers even more because you ain't definitely ain't playing out of that box. You back up too far, them guys go, and he can hit you home run. That's a good thing about him. So I would
he,
definitely take him,
well,
even though I'm on
certainly,
defense.
yeah, certainly he put pressures. He definitely put pressure on your perimeter defense, man. You talking about Jameer Gibbs,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like clone the same thing that Jameer Gibbs. I was very high on Jameer Gibbs, man, coming out of Alabama. I really, really wanted Dallas to take Jameer Gibbs. In fact, I had him rated on my board. And even though I like B. John Robinson coming out of Texas, don't get me wrong, I just like that speed, man. And you can never have enough of that when you get those type players that can put that kind of pressure on the edge of your defense. And Jeremiah Love, he brings that to the table. So I certainly will concur. If he's there at number 12, you take him because it is a deep draft and you can still go out and get a solid player. We don't know, like Greg was stating, we don't know exactly, these other players that's at these other colleges. You remember back in the day when Bill Parcells drafted Andre Ware out of Troy, and look where he ended up being a Super Bowl winner and a Hall of Famer later on. So we know those players are available, especially I think in this draft, and you can still get them. And I kind of think, I mean, it's an outside chance. I'm looking at some of these teams that could use Jeremiah Love. I know where they kind of got him projected to go, but depending on how this thing falls, it could be right there at number 12. It just depends. Or if not at 12, maybe at 10. And then I'm kind of wondering if Dallas move up 1 or 2 spots because I do think that they're enamored with Love. Because when you consider 1-2 punch, you already got Williams signed again, and with a power back that he is, Devontae Williams, what he brings to the table, and you put him and Love together, man. You talking about a threat on offense. But again, if that's only if he's there, and if he's not there, then you still get your man. But we got to show up that defense, especially with a new defensive coordinator in Christian Parker. So we're gonna see, guys. We're gonna see how this draft shape out. We'll come back and talk about it again as we get closer, because I think because come Tuesday we'll be exactly 2 days away. So we're gonna try to do a mock draft, maybe do the top 30, and let's just see and compare notes and see where we are at that time and see what happens. But Greg, uh, I don't know, man. I don't know. We might put a surprise day one draft, and don't be surprised if Fred Warner, man. This just in, the Dallas send the number 20 pick over to the San Francisco 49. I'll make sure I got you. I'm gonna take all
Hey,
your shoe rings away. You don't have a heart attack.
hey, y'all might have to give away both of them picks. Not just one. Y'all gotta give both of them picks. We sure don't want none of that trash coming from over there. We want the 2 picks and some money. We don't want nobody.
All right. Well, we got a segue, guys. We know we got the NBA playoffs have started, and we got teams that are playing now. 2 games are going on in the play-in. Tim, you may want to give us an update on that and what's happening. I know we got Charlotte playing, taking on the Miami Heat, and I don't
Yeah,
know if that score should be a final by now. Shouldn't it?
it is the final now. And Bob Adebayo, he got hurt. He got hurt
Uh-oh.
in the game. And he couldn't come back, and so Charlotte then took a surge. and got the lead. They was leading by 5 points after that. It was like 65 or something like that. And then Miami came back and took over to take the lead back. And then they battled, and it went into overtime. And then Charlotte pulled it out in overtime. So I don't know if Nipple picked up his game, but he was 0 of 6 from 3 early in that game. I don't know if he picked it up in overtime or something like that, but he was 0 of 6 in that game. He wasn't shooting too well, but they had David White coming off the bench. He was killing it. He was hot as I don't know what, firecracker. And of course, Ball was playmaking very well as well. So they picked it up and they pulled it out in the overtime. So Miami's eliminated now.
Miami is eliminated. If Adebayo got hurt, man, they wasn't gonna go far anyway. I just, if he got in there, would have been. You talking about Detroit Pistons got the #1 seed. Yeah, I don't see them doing anything. So it's early vacation. They might as well go fishing, man, and make hotel reservations and all that good stuff. But Greg, what do you think, man, in terms of over there in the Eastern Conference? The Detroit Pistons got the #1 seed. I'm really surprised, guys, to be honest with you, because I thought the New York Knicks would have had that #1 seed. Boston played, big kudos to Jaylen Brown, man. I think he did a magnificent job without his sidekick, Jason Tatum, being out for the season. But what do you think now that it has shaping up? How do you see that going over there? What was it, Tim? Real quick, or Greg told this. I forget it was this. Charlotte was playing who tonight? I think they had a game in also. Orlando Magic. They had a game in also. I don't know if they won or not.
It's not Orlando. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Greg.
They play tomorrow. They play 76 tomorrow.
Yeah, the 76 tomorrow. Right. They got
Today's game will be it's in the West. So today's game is Portland and Phoenix. That's going on right now.
We're gonna get to the West in a second. But I just thought they played both of those games. But Greg is right. They play tomorrow, the 76ers, and I like the 76ers in that. I know Joel Embiid is out once again, but what can you say? But Maxey has been doing such a heck of a job. You know what? Let me retract that, because we are talking. I don't know. Orlando pretty good. So, but anyway, what you think though, Greg?
Detroit, man, they play like them old bad boys, man. They physical.
Yeah.
They ain't playing no games over there. They physical. They gonna beat you up. They got some young scorers, and they just play. They play real physical. Now the Celtics, like you say, Brown has been playing excellent. They bringing what's the name? He should be coming into play. He had a nice little stretch before the playoffs started, so he should be able to play some minutes now. The Knicks kind of fell off. They had a losing streak at the end of the season. They lost like 6 or 7 in a row. Just it wasn't just clicking. So they got to regroup and get it back together before the playoffs start. And
I was gonna say, I think I want to say they dropped 1 out of 3 against the Atlanta Hawks, and everybody's been kind of talking about that because they saying, what if the New York Knicks didn't get out of the first round? Well, heads got to roll. Now I don't know if they fired Mike Brown. I don't know anything about that, but with Cat being out there, man, again, I don't see them losing to the Atlanta Hawks, but if they did, yeah, I think Mikal Bridges, we gonna holler at you because Mikal Bridges, man, he just I don't know, he's been kind of MIA, and I don't know if they're gonna be able to sustain. Even if they get past Atlanta, it's gonna be an issue. And Greg, to your point, you're talking about how they dropped several winnable games that they should have won toward the end of the season. Do you blame that on season fatigue? I don't think so, because Jalen Brunson been there. They've been in the Eastern Conference Final. Heck, he went to a Western Conference Final when he with the Dallas Mavericks. So we can't have no excuses, even Cat and them. So y'all understand the circumstances and y'all understand the level of the NBA playoffs and what you got to do. But because the Atlanta Hawks defeated them towards the end, I think the New Yorkers are kind of on they're sitting kind of in panic mode. I think they will be all right, but at the same time, you just never know because the young Atlanta Hawks team, ever since they traded Trey Young, have really been playing really well. And so when you going into somebody else's arena and you have nothing else to lose, shoot, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But how do you see that shaping out, though, Tim?
Well, New York is a real good team at home. They one of the top five teams at home. That's one of their problems. They're not winning on the road. And you would think with the vets that they got a lot of vets on their team. Will they show up on the road this season? And that should bode well playing against Atlanta. So I think they'll put Atlanta because they got the home field advantage. But when they go up against Boston, they won't have the home field advantage. Boston has it because Boston passed them up. And Boston been playing very well, and Boston was trying to get to Detroit, but Detroit came together, and Jalen Duren, as for Detroit, the center, showed another level. So with their point guard out, he came and showed that, hey, I got another level to me, and they gave him the ball, and he showed it. So Detroit, because of the injuries, made it shown that they have more depth than people really thought of until after that injury. So Detroit is looking real good, but can they handle in the playoffs? Will they be able to handle Boston, for example? That remains to be seen. So let's go, especially with Tatum coming back, because Tatum's back now. He's starting to get in the rhythm, and he actually still right now deferring to Brown a little bit, but he's still doing his thing. So he doesn't take as many shots as he was before he was injured, but he's coming into his own, and he may be there by the time the playoffs finish.
Yeah, well, we know that styles definitely make fights, but let's switch over here to the Western Conference real quick and go through that because the Lakers, Old Man River, y'all know who I'm alluding to. Old Man River, man, the Los Angeles Lakers got to take on the Houston Rockets, and they don't have Reeve, nor do they have Luka Doncic. So, hey, man, if the Houston Rockets don't pull this series out, I don't even know what to say. I think Udoka will be fired, should be fired. I just don't see them losing to the Lakers due to those injuries, those two key players being out. And I just think at the age of 41, I don't care what you say. I mean, even though at 41, we know about LeBron James's physical fitness, his stamina, but still, time is undefeated. And ask the man at that age to go in there and do what you're kind of asking him to do. We know the playoff intensity will heat up a little bit more and shots get contested a little bit more. And I just don't see them coming out of this series. But Greg, what you think? Houston Rockets, Los Angeles Lakers series, how you see it going?
But they ain't got Luka or Reed. You talking about a lot of points that they be missing. Luka can stretch the floor, Reed, all these guys. So now, I mean, you don't have nobody else really that you can have to stick. You can double team Bron and get the ball out of his hand. So hey, that would be the game plan for, and I just don't see them have enough scores, to stick with Houston.
Yeah. Well, I concur with Tim. How you see it?
A lot of people underestimate Rui Hachimura. They underestimate that dude. That dude played pretty good, but I'm going to say this real quick. Who has the most pressure, LeBron or Kevin Durant? Because Kevin Durant got to show up too. Because he can't be losing Durant. He can't be losing to LeBron and they missing Luka and Reed. So Kevin Durant better not let them beat him. He better step up. He better win the series because then all of a sudden he's kind of tainted then. Because it's like, hey, wait a minute, you can't only win with Steph? That's the only person you can win with? You can't win with nobody else? He got to step up.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's true. I mean, that's fair. I mean, you're absolutely 100% correct because if LeBron were to beat him in this series, being short-handed the way that he is, and you pretty much have all your guys in the, that's there. I mean, what it says about your to me, this will be like a legacy game in a sense. Even though I think Durant is, is over 35, age of 35 himself. Got a lot of games, a lot of basketball been played on both those bodies. But at the same time, you're talking about this is why you still there. This is why you still get paid. So the pressure is definitely on Kevin Durant putting the series out, no matter how he sees whatever he has to do to get it done, he has to get it done because this can definitely affect his well, I'm
His
gonna say it's
legacy.
definitely a dink in his arm as far as being an NBA great or legend because those championships that he won with Golden State is going to be always exactly that. And when you were in your prime, you had a gentleman backdoor sweep by the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 when you had the likes of a James Harden, Ibaka, and Westbrook. So yeah, he has a lot riding on this himself. I definitely agree with you, Tim, and we're gonna see how that series shape out. But let's go over to talk about the top team, the OKC Thunder.
Ooh.
The
Mm.
Spurs. Let's talk about the San Antonio Spurs and how they played against the Thunder this year. And I do think that it's gonna be really, really interesting if those two teams meet up in the Western Conference Finals. I like the San Antonio Spurs chances. But Tim, you say what?
Because first of all, they got to go through Denver. San Antonio got to go through Denver, so more than likely, because Denver still got to win their game too. But more than likely, they'll be going through Denver to get to Oklahoma City. So, woo, if they made it to each other, one thing about it, Jalen Williams wasn't full go. He had got back, but he wasn't full go. So it'd be interesting once he's full go, which he is now, how they would play against each other going into a playoffs and with the playoff experience and the lack of that San Antonio has. So that's going to be a great series. And I got to pull. Wait, that's so funny. We got Oklahoma 3 hours away. San Antonio 4.5 hours away. You know what I'm saying? But it's in Texas. The other one's in Oklahoma. So you know
Right.
how it is. I'm a Texas guy. We got to take care of things in Texas. That's how we do. So I go for Texas, but that's a challenge. There's some challenges coming up.
Yeah. Well, Greg, what you think, man? If them two teams meet in the finals, how you see that series shaping out?
Well, well, you know what you got to do to Oklahoma. You got to stop Mr. Alexander. That's the key. And the big French guy, he has to play every game. He has to play both ends of the court. And the young guys, they're gonna be two young teams. They're gonna be going at it. Oklahoma has a little more experience with their team. San Antonio is athletic too. It'll be a great game. Defense. And you have to hit the shots. So
Yeah.
that it could boil down. That free throw. Oklahoma is big on a bunch of getting to the free throw line.
Mm.
You're gonna have to you got to keep them off that free throw line. So that'll be a key part of the series. You got to get to that free throw line.
Well, I tell you this, I think if OKC match up with Denver, I like OKC. But if they match up with San Antonio, man, I think San Antonio gets it done. I just think San Antonio gets it done. I think Wembyambi them, they create a different type of style of play. You got them young boy, and you got a veteran like Barnes. Then you got the young boy Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a nucleus, man, and you got Fox over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just like again styles create different matchups and likes, and I just think if it comes down to OKC in that Western Conference Final going against San Antonio, I definitely like San Antonio Spurs, and we're gonna look forward to, like I say, the NBA playoffs are here, and we're gonna see how it all shapes out. I hate my Dallas Mavericks didn't get in, but we get back into the lottery, maybe get another pick, and then we get our horses back next year, and we'll see how it go. I think it's gonna look a lot different next year. But for those of y'all who are watching, we are the Wise Sports Network channel here, and you are listening to the replay where we still hope that we're making your day. I am your host, Jabril A. Rashad. Joining me again is my two guys, Greg Ice Trade Lewis, as well as Tim Action Jackson, all the way from Nebraska. So, guys, coming up on our last segment, we got to talk about this thing. I got to throw this thing in here, man, because it had my, my competition juices kind of percolating when I learned about my new addition not getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or I should say Rock and Roll Hall of Shame. So I got a little list, and you guys just tell me this here and what you think about it. Because when I heard about them not making it, and the ones who did make it, I'm not knocking the ones who made it. I'm just simply saying, how do you leave New Edition out of this thing? But people like Luther Vandross, of course, you had MC Light that was up. You had Phil Collins that was up. Sade that was up. These are the people that come to mind. Wu-Tang Clan got in. I like what RZA said. He was so disappointed New Edition didn't get in. He said if they hadn't got in, those guys definitely should. Because again, one of the questions I want to pose to you guys, and Tim, I come to you first on this. Can we look at the overall history of New Edition? This was raised by Jermaine Dupri. They talked about the greatest group of all times, and he said the New Edition was the greatest group of all time. And I said no, I beg to disagree. I think that Jackson 5 is the greatest group of all time, but I do think New Edition is the greatest talent wise group of all time because each of them went platinum. And what can you say? Nobody has ever done that. Gone platinum, broke up the group, went platinum, reassembled the group, came back, and went platinum again as a group. Nobody has done that. So to me, they are definitely the most talented group to ever live. And that's including all white groups as well. So for them not to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Shame, I have a real problem with that. So I'm gonna come to you on that, Tim. When we think about Candy Girl, Not My Kind of Girl, Can You Stand the Rain, Cool It Now, all the great hits, man. What do you think about New Edition not getting into this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
It's really a shame when you think about it. You kind of think about it in the NFL. So all you out there, you understand the NFL. When you get that first opportunity to get in the Hall of Fame, because they'll get another opportunity. When you get that first opportunity, you're the first ballot Hall of Famer. That's what we're talking about. First ballot Hall of Famer. They should be a first ballot Hall of Fame. They're gonna get in, but they should be a first ballot Hall of Fame because how great they are. And that's the point you making by talking about their stats. Like each one of them individually can sing, and even as a little part group, because they broke up into a little small part group, Poison, you know what I'm saying, and all the great songs they did. Actually, Bell, Bell Biv DeVoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that, and you talking about the others with lead singers, and all of them was just stars as lead singers. So from Johnny Gill to Bobby Brown, who his wife called him the greatest R&B singer of all, right? So you think about that talent, Ralph Tresvant. So when you think about how well they do, and Ricky Bell can sing as well too, but he's a part of that group. So just think about that. All that talent on one place. You tell me you got first ballot? They definitely should be first ballot, without a doubt.
Yeah, well, Greg, what you think?
No doubt that they was one of the greatest groups, even from starting at kids all the way up to adult age. They made hits together, separate. You in all fashions. You know what I'm saying? You can't count them out. They should have been the first ballot. Should have been a landslide. With no problem. And I just think that politics or whatever it may be, or whoever voted no, it should not even be on the board. There's no way possible that New Edition shouldn't have been in there on their first ballot. No way. It's no way possible.
Yeah, and I agree. And we all kind of can remember what we were when we heard that little distinct voice that sounded like Michael Jackson. And that what really, I think, captivated a lot of young people at the time, because those who grew up in the early 70s and listened and watched the Jackson 5, we thought it was Michael Jackson, but it was New Edition with lead singer Ralph Tresvant. And so when you look at all that they've done for the culture, for R&B, and not to be, I mean, you got a rap group. I mean, get that. And I like Wu-Tang, but come on now. Come on now. They get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before New Edition. I just don't understand. And Tim, that's a great analogy when you talk about you saw it with Bill Belichick. I mean, you really can't have, I mean, I don't even know how now going forward, how can you have an Andy Reid when his time comes up and you don't have a Bill Belichick who didn't get in on the first ballot? I think that does say something. It means something. And this is why Terrell Owens felt how he felt. It was one thing to pass over him the first time, but to pass over him the second time, that's personal. That's personal. And I don't know if anybody got anything personally against Bobby Brown because he's in New Edition. We know Bobby Brown is a bad boy of New Edition, but at the same time, man, people grow up and you see what Bobby Brown and what he also did. I mean, you don't leave a group like New Edition now. And I heard I call him Charlemagne the Fraud on the Breakfast Club speaking to this because his guys Wu-Tang got in, but then when you played the interview by RZA and what RZA said, it made him look real stupid because even RZA said, man, had we not got in, he said, I wanted to see those brothers go in. So it's not about when they get in, oh, they're going to go in. It's about what you've done because tomorrow's not promised. You got all 6 group members who are still alive. And nobody can count what tomorrow is going to bring. So why are you going to put me off another year when I deserve to go in this year? I don't want to get paid 6 months from now. I don't want to get paid a year from now. When I finish the job, give me my check. Run me my check, or we're going to have issues. You see what I'm saying? So you all off 6 months to another year. And I'm just simply saying, when you deserve it, you deserve it. I have no problem with those who did get in, per se, especially like Luther Vandross and so forth, but you cannot leave out a New Edition, man. You just can't do it. You say what, though, Tim?
Oh, man, you just hit my heart. Just think about how many people wouldn't even be here if Luther wasn't singing. One of the greatest crooners ever. It's probably of the last one. We probably ain't had a great crooner since him. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about the great, man.
Look, man, let me tell you
something. All these 90, 2000 babies, all these 2010, all you babies out there, y'all born, y'all came here because of Luther, singing them songs.
Let me share this with you, man. I went to my senior high school prom stag, meaning those of y'all who don't know what stag mean, I went by myself. And it wasn't number Luther playing in my car as I'm driving to my senior prom. So I think, when it comes down to someone like a Luther Vandross, I mean, it goes without saying. I think he's the greatest balladeer to grace the stage. If we're talking just balladeer wise, to me. So again, it's a shame that even Mariah Carey.
Oh, and I was gonna say that. Man, you how can she have all those hits? Her whole albums of just sell, and you don't put her first ballot. That's another track. Matter of fact, I don't care who else is there. Those 3 should have been in. You can take whoever else you want off. Those 3 should be first ballot regardless. But hey, I'm not the vote. I don't vote.
Well, like I said, crazy things that happen, and Greg absolutely right. When you talk about those who made the vote or who are voting, a lot of times, man, they don't get it. They don't get it right. But here are the ones who did make it. The Oasis, they got in. Of course, Phil Collins got in. Sade got in. Iron Maiden got in. Billy Idol got in. Joy Division / New Order got in. Luther Vandross and Wu-Tang. And again, you're talking what as 1, 5, 6, 7, 8 people got in. I'm just telling you, and I'm not some of these names, this Iron Maiden, and maybe somebody gets Iron Maiden fan will correct me, or Joy Division, but I never heard of them. I just never heard of them. And maybe you guys have, but I haven't heard of them. And if you're gonna try to convince me that they trump a Mariah Carey or a New Edition, I don't care if I have heard of them. I'm still saying they gets no play in my car. I'm thinking new edition of Mariah Carey should have certainly been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or at this point, I call it the Rock and Roll Hall of Shame. Shame, shame, shame. So, guys, listen, that's going to conclude another episode of the replay. I'm going to give myself a round of applause again. Able to accommodate everybody that came on with us this evening. For those of you who missed this upload a little bit later, again, don't forget to tell a friend and tell a friend. Go over there and hit the Adislam Worldwide app on your app store. It's absolutely free. Download that, and you're going to see all of the content we're going to be doing. And we got some other great things coming up with this NFL draft. But we will be doing Wide Sports. Will be in the building covering that. So stay tuned for that. And again, we're going to be watching these playoffs, and we'll come back and see what happens over the weekend. And we'll have our mock draft next week. And I'm going to see where Greg Lewis is going to be at that time with the San Francisco 49ers and what pick that they're going to make. We can really go from there. But let me see if I had hold on for a second, guys. We'll put up. Oh, his brother said Eddie here. Let me get his brother to salam. And blessings. Assalamu alaikum. We say to you, brother Eddie here. So we're out of here, man, this evening. Again, thank you guys for coming on. We appreciate you. Real quick before we leave, is there any shout outs we want to do? Is there any shout outs? You got any shout outs, Tim?
Just to all the kids that actually, all the women that got drafted. You know, it means so much that they, go along. They now have a different level of pay in WNBA. Now they get paid minimum $250,000. So, for example, Ashley Floyd got paid $500,000 for her first year. So that's a big difference. Before the year before, Paige got paid $70,000. That's a big time raise. Shout out to him.
Big time. Greg, what about you? Who you shouting out, Greg?
I want to shout out to all the Aggies that's going to get drafted. Then I want to shout out to the young man who ran a 1967 in the 200 meters.
Yeah, I didn't know if you saw that or not, but I had He was putting them down. Absolutely. Oh, and let me say this now that I'm glad that Tim brought up when he was speaking about the students. And I will be talking about this more and more now as we're getting closer, because I know these next days. I am student athlete on Saturday, June the 6th. Again, Saturday, June the 6th at the Wilmer Hutchins High School in Dallas, Texas, 5520 Langdon Road. We'll have a second annual Youth Boys and Girls Summit. And we're going to pour into our at-risk youth as well. Yes, we're not only talking about the students, but we're talking about at-risk students as well as well as the academic part of this thing, where we're going to be talking about workforce development, financial literacy, mental health. We're talking about life skills, economic development with our young people. I'm telling you, this is one you don't want to miss. We're going to have individuals coming. 15 people will be speaking on the panel. We got the NFL Alumni Association, Houston chapter, and we're still in conversation with the Dallas chapter as well. We do know President Mike Holmes will be on board, as well as former and current NFL and college players, along with AEX out of Charlotte, North Carolina. My good friends, my brothers down there, Tajir and Randy Wharton, who does the high school combines across the country. They would also be in the building conducting that, and we're going to have a DJ on the field. We're going to have healthcare screening from the Parkland Hospital mobile unit. We're going to have civil workers, civics workers out there, the Dallas Fire Department, DPD, and a host of other things. So you don't want to miss this. It's going to be really great for our young people. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you know of someone, I know you got your cousins, you got your nieces, your nephews, so forth. Bring them on. Because if you can't really contribute or donate, at least you can show up with your time, which is the most valuable thing that we all have is our time. So I'll be speaking more and more about this. Again, it is the I Am Student Athlete second annual youth summit. I want you all to come out. It's absolutely free. The symposium is absolutely free, no cost. We start with our 10-year age 10 and up. But the combine, you must register. And also we got a 7-on-7 girls flag football game. Forgot to mention that. But yes, we got our girls involved with it as well. So you don't want to miss that. Again, we're going to have a wonderful time, great time, God willing. So I hope that you guys will be a part of that. Again, the symposium is free, but please register. You can go to www.iamstudentathlete.org. Okay, www.iamstudentathlete.org. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. But again, we'll be talking more and more about that. So this has been another edition of the replay. Again, well, I made you guys. We look forward to speaking to you. Until then, God bless. Be safe, and we'll be back in touch with you soon. Peace and blessings.
All right. Stay wise and be blessed.
Peace.